Welcome to day 3 of the Embodied Radiance activations. I'm super excited to be on today, and I am fresh from Yoni Temple retreat here in my home in Zurich. The women are literally still downstairs finishing off dinner after our incredible day retreat. And I'm excited to come on today as part of these 14 days of embodied radiance activations to share with you what I believe is the secret sauce to a woman's radiance. The secret sauce to feeling delicious in your own skin, to feel alive in your body, to feel activated from the inside out, and also a way where you can really deeply relax your nervous system and allow like any running thoughts, looping thoughts in the mind to really come back down and into your body. The secret sauce of radiance is like a superpower for women that you have all the time. And that secret is pleasure. And I'll tell you why. and then we'll have some space for questions as well. So for those of you who are tuning in, welcome. This is going to be an activation today, which will hopefully support you and inspire you to get more into your pleasure body. Feel free to comment anytime, post questions anytime, and I'm here and available to support and check in with you. So along my journey, there were some years where I really scoffed at pleasure. Like I really thought that it was the most superficial thing, and kind of that thing that if you did it at all, like it would be the last thing on your to-do list, right? It just wasn't that important. I remember being a yoga teacher and being like super spiritual on my path and feeling like, okay, pleasure was a distraction. It is an obstacle to enlightenment. Pleasure is something that isn't actually nourishing for the soul. And it was always so confusing to me because I always felt like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. Like I have a body and I have senses. I touch and taste. I feel, I hear. Like there's so much of my body that receives this pleasure of being alive. Why would it be a bad thing? And I think that culturally, we've just been taught that pleasure isn't something that is valuable because what it does is it can awaken your entire feminine being. And that has been seen as dangerous for the patriarchy. So churches, religions, I come from an Asian upbringing, lack of proper sex ed, all of these things have actually suppressed us and definitely women to accessing the full potential and the full range of our pleasure. So I'm here to share a little bit more about that today. I just wanted you to know that if we're meeting together each other and we're newer on getting to know each other, that I've walked quite a journey around like completely, not just repressing my pleasure, but completely disconnecting and disowning that it was something valuable for me in my life, and coming to a place where I teach this. Like I said, I just came from a Yoni Temple retreat. I'm super vibe and high, and just spent a whole day with women on this topic. So I'm just looking around because I realize that I probably need a little bit more light. So just hang on. You get a little bit of a tour of my messy bedroom right now. Whoop. Keeping things real on this live. All right, here we go. That should be better. So pleasure. The senses in your body, as I mentioned, are designed for you to get to know life through. Like that, like if you think about the innocence and the sweetness of a baby when they're first born and they're exploring their world for the first time, the first sense that they have is smell, right? You can smell your mama before you can see her. And then the next thing is sucking, right? So babies put everything in their mouths because it's so pleasurable. That's how you actually learn about the world. And then after that, we use our hands and we touch things. We're really tactile. So sensuality is such a key part of pleasure because that is how we feel our way through the world. That is how we know what enlivens us and what are the things that we don't touch, like a hot stove. Pleasure is something that is not needed from outside of yourself. I work with so many women who say, okay, like I'm not getting any pleasure because my partner can't give it to me, or I don't have a partner. Well, I'm here to share with you and remind you that you are your own best lover. You can give yourself pleasure. In fact, it has to start with you, even if you have a partner. If you don't get to know how your own pleasure system works, you'll never be able to teach a partner or share about how you love to be touched. You'll never be able to develop the sensitivity that is available to you at your body right now in this moment. One of the ways that I love to share about pleasure, like I did today in the retreat, is yoni mapping. I'm going to go more into this tomorrow, but just to give you a little preview, yoni mapping is where we really bring conscious awareness and touch and love, which is often the missing ingredient, to every part of our pleasure anatomy, which can involve the vulva. The vulva is the outside of your yoni, your sacred space, your genitals. And by bringing this quality of presence and love, often we awaken to so much pleasure that is available to us all the time. More on that tomorrow. But right now, the transmission for today is that you don't have to wait to feel pleasure. And you don't need to get pleasure from anyone else. I was in a celibate marriage for 3 years, not my choice. He didn't want to have intimacy anymore. And I thought that I was stuck in this life with no pleasure. I would self-pleasure, yeah, but it's really the pleasure in everyday moments, which is the ultimate resource for any human being, especially a woman. Because you know what, sisters? When you learn how to resource yourself from pleasure from the inside out by like really savoring the pleasure of your breath, really feeling the warmth of your tea mug around your hands, receiving and allowing the sun's rays to penetrate your skin. I love making love with the sun. It's just like having the sun on my yoni is like one of the most pleasurable things in the world. The pleasure of putting on clothes that feel fabulous on your skin. The pleasure of hearing children playing outside in the backyard. Yeah, I just finished a cleanse, so it's like the pleasure of, I just ate a brownie today. I think it was a bit early for it. But anyways, the pleasure of like putting this delicious dark chocolate brownie in my mouth and feeling its delicious sensation. Like this is everyday pleasure. So here's your invitation for today. Ask yourself first, fill in the blank. You can even do it right now. What is pleasure? Yeah? And then you fill in the blank and just go ahead, just like I just riffed on right now. What is pleasure? And just free write, or you can speak out loud as well. What is pleasure? And then the next thing is to make moments of pleasure all the time. And all it takes is an awareness of, oh, here's a moment. And I ask myself this question: how can this moment be even more pleasurable? Yeah? It might just be putting that extra pillow behind your head. Or it could be like, oh, I need this little blanket on my body. What could feel pleasurable is taking myself away from the laptop that I've been sitting at for hours and rubbing my hands and putting your hands onto your eyes to allow them to soothe. All of these are delicious moments of pleasure. So notice those in your day. And then the final tip is that when you feel that pleasure, breathe. Yeah? There are keys to learning how to expand your pleasure in the bedroom and outside the bedroom, and breath is one of the main keys. So when you feel pleasure, bring your attention to it and then breathe, like feel that pleasure. And imagination goes a long way. Imagine that this pleasure is just expanding out into all areas of your body, like rippling out into every cell, every fingertip, every toe tip. Yeah, and then as you exhale, you can like relax into pleasure. A lot of times we've learned that we need to tense around pleasure, which actually creates this feeling of like it doesn't move anywhere. But if you breathe and learn how to soften and relax into pleasure, then pleasure becomes this renewable resource where it energizes your body. And you can actually start to feel more alive. So again, if you have any questions, any takeaways, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'm doing this fun little giveaway that I'm going to give one more little nugget, but I'm doing a fun little giveaway for these 14 days of radiance. This is day 3, that if you comment with your takeaway on every single one of the lives for these 14 days, you'll be entered into a draw to win your choice of a ticket to my upcoming Radiance retreat in Calgary, Alberta on April 28th, or a one-on-one coaching session. So make sure you do that. If you're interested in coming to the Radiance retreat, make sure that you comment Radiance in the comments, and we'll get back to you with the link on how to register. All right, so again, a little recap from today. Pleasure is the secret sauce to your radiance. That's what makes you glow from the inside out. Ask yourself, what is pleasure? Fill in the blanks. Riff on that. Like, just feel through your senses. What is pleasurable in your everyday life? And then when you notice that, really savor it. Yeah, give yourself and ask yourself, how can this moment be more pleasurable? And then the last piece, breathe. When you feel pleasure, use your breath, expand your pleasure all over your body. Again, in or out of the bedroom, it all works. Exhaling, learn how to soften into your pleasure. And those 3 keys should support you to feel more pleasure in your everyday life. All right, so I hope that was helpful. Again, any comments, any questions, to pop them into the comment thread, and we'd be super happy to get back to you. Hope to see some of you at the Calgary Radiance Retreat on April 28th. And otherwise, we will see you back here tomorrow. And the session is going to be called Hello Vulva, which is going to be super fun and playful. We'll talk a little bit anatomy of the vulva as much as the IG gods will allow us. All right. Okay, that's it for now. Take care. Oh, and if you want a glimpse behind the scenes, I'm going to post a few super beautiful pictures from the Yoni Temple retreat here in Zurich that is still finishing up downstairs in our temple space. So you can have a glimpse inside what happens in the workshop as well. All right, much love. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.